We're back. 2 for 2 today. 2 lives in one day. Oh my goodness, Goddess Ekua, you are on fire. I know. So I am here. Welcome back to my channel. Okay, period. My name is Ekua Ahima. For those of you who are new to my page, new to my channel, I know I like to do my spiel every other video, right? If you are just tuning in for the first time, like I said, my name is Ekua Ahima. And over the last several years as a financial dominatrix, I have not only been able to scale myself to 6 figures, but help over 5,000 Black women do exactly the same in financial domination. So in today's video, I'm going to be answering some questions from my students. Now, to become a student, you can click the link in my description box or in my bio and head over to the AfroDomme Academy to become an exclusive member. Hey, new students, hello. So by becoming a new student or becoming a student of the AfroDomme Academy, you will get instant access to the last 8 years worth of lecture videos, templates, tutorials on how to not only understand what financial domination truly is, but really establish a business in this, really establish several streams of income in this industry, which is a $95 billion industry, by the way. Really establish a business for yourself in this community that can not only give you financial freedom, but also help you establish multiple other businesses, travel the world, pay off debt, etc. So becoming an AfroDomme Academy member has so many benefits, and I'm specifically answering some questions from my students inside of our private space. So welcome if you are just joining us as a new student. And yeah, I love your cat eye glasses. Thank you. I love the cat eye shape. Not too much cat, but just a little cat, like pure. I don't know. This shape has always looked really good to me. I've always been attracted to it, like that bougie grandma glasses look. Or some people have described as sexy secretary, sexy librarian, sexy teacher, but I won't get into that. So, yeah, I have a couple of different questions from my students that I wanted to answer. I got some new questions from my students that I wanted to answer, and I'm definitely going to get to them in a second. So, first and foremost, I don't know what that comment means. It's a little crazy that you said that. Crazy hair is a bit crazy that you would use that to describe an afro, but we're gonna go ahead and get to the questions. So one of the questions out of very many, hopefully I'll be able to address all of them, but the first question was current mistakes you see newbies make, of course, outside of having minimum tributes, or doing minimum things, or having the loser middle finger puzzle kind of piece. So usually in this kind of industry, we see a lot of new women, especially now that it's starting to get warm outside. We see a lot of new doms and stuff like that, really trying to get into Findom, and they are always a little timid, shy. One thing I always say as a joke, and it's really not a joke because it's actually the truth, most of us, when we first start off as Findoms, are scared to show our face. So we automatically go to foot content. And then as we get more comfortable, confident in ourselves, we then branch off to other practices, other niches, other kinks, other things, other fetishes in the industry. And one thing I would say is a current mistake that a lot of new doms make is that path right there. Really coming into this with a lack of confidence, coming into this with a lack of resources, coming into this with a lack of surety that this industry is for them, right? Because there's nothing wrong with like trying to dip your toes in the water first and how to, kind of experiment, there's nothing with that, but really having that lack of confidence right out the gate for yourself is a killer, because that lack of confidence is going to then affect the way that you show up for yourself online, the way that you approach financial domination. Because a lot of new girls say, well, I'm trying to figure it out. I'm getting my feet wet in it. But then they, struggle with consistency and organization and content creation and stuff like that. So one current mistake I see a lot of us come into this industry with is the mindset. Right? Do for sure that before you build your Twitter page and start taking pictures of yourself and start developing all of these things to get your LLC and all of that, do you actually feel comfortable and confident that this is the right industry for you, that this is the right space for you? Because we have a lot of girls that come in, a lot of girls that try, a lot of girls that get started, but then don't follow through and don't finish. Right? Don't follow through and don't finish. And then we just have empty pages and girls with Twitter accounts that don't go anywhere, just clogging up the algorithm. You know what I'm saying? So one current mistake I would say that I see a lot of newbies make outside of the norm of having minimum tributes, having verification videos, having doing the little girl foolish stuff, is not being truly confident about themselves and whether this industry is for them. And one way to, really know coming in the door is doing your research. Are you doing enough research about BDSM, about financial domination to truly say like, okay, yeah, this is definitely for me, right? Have you, at least dipped your toes in to have a consultation with a mentor that's credible, to get some knowledge, to get some information so that you can take some notes and sleep on it and decide if this is for you or not, where you can find yourself, what niche, what lane you can find yourself in, right? Because some people say, well, there's no better learner than just jumping in and trying to figure it out. But to be honest, this is not the kind of industry where you can just jump in and try to figure it out. A lot of people make mistakes. A lot of people make mistakes that cost them their lives, okay? We were talking about on TikTok, and I'm sure you have already seen all over the internet now, of how an OnlyFans model very recently is now being faced with a murder charge because she got $11,000 from one of her subscribers to do a breath play session, and shit went left, and that motherfucker wound up dead, and now she is getting facing a murder charge, truly, right? So do not start something, do not jump into something thinking that, oh, well, everything's going to be fine. I can just figure things out and make mistakes along the way, because sometimes those mistakes do cost you your life and cost you your client's life. So that's an egregious example of it. But at that same time, again, she very well could have avoided that situation as well. She did not know what she was doing and decided to do the session anyway. It didn't have to go that way. I'm sure she had that mindset of, oh, everything will be fine, I'll just figure it out. And now she's going to jail, right? So one mistake that I see a lot of newbies make is not doing enough research and not really truly being confident about if this is right for them, if they have what it takes, and if they're willing to invest in education. Because no, you can't just figure things out as they go. That's how you get to the point of getting $11,000 and now you're a murderer because you thought that you could just figure out how to do a breath play session and now your client is dead, right? So really, one, having the confidence, two, doing enough research, and then three, actually being willing to invest in your education so that you do not make mistakes that cost you your career, cost you your life, cost you the life of other people. That's definitely three mistakes that I see lots and lots and lots of newbies making. One of the other questions was tips for going live on loyal fans, how to create the desire for folks to describe, and how to really set the tone, set the scene. Okay, so that is a really good question. I've talked to a lot of my new students about different platforms to use for streams of income, right? You want to think about this as using, let's say, for example, loyal fans as a stream of income for yourself so that you can eventually have loyal fans be passive income for you, where you're not working 24/7 or creating content 24/7, but you have, let's say, a set amount of subscribers, because loyal fans lets you do a monthly subscription. You have a set amount of subscribers that's going to allow you to cash in on that month after month after month after month. So that's the goal, creating streams of passive income for yourself. Because we think of financial domination as a business, not what site do I join so I can hurry up and find someone to give me some money. That is not how you operate in financial domination. But if you want to build a business and you want to know how to build financial freedom, passive income, one of the platforms you can use to create a sales funnel for yourself to generate that passive income would be Loyal Fans. And Loyal Fans also has a live feature. So one thing to address the question of how to create the desire to subscribe is one, promotion, right? Self-promotion and marketing is 90% of the job as a businesswoman, as a financial dominatrix. So you want to make sure that when it comes to your social media on Twitter, you are always posting something that promotes this Loyal Fans. The same way I Want Clips has that auto tweet that comes out and says, you need a clip from me, buy it now on I Want Clips. You need to have something set up like that for Loyal Fans where you are constantly on a daily, weekly, monthly, I don't care, basis that is promoting your Loyal Fans. If not automated, you doing it yourself, already having it queued up. Hey, my Loyal Fans is over here. Subscribe so that you can see XYZ type of exclusive content. Click this link. I'm headed over there now. Another way to create the desire is to be consistent. When you are consistently going live, let's say, for example, on Loyal Fans, people will see that you're going to be talking about the fact that you're on live. You can maybe even schedule your lives out and let people know, hey, I go live on Loyal Fans every Friday at 8 o'clock. Tune in every Friday at 8 o'clock for my live streams so that people have something to look forward to. Incentivize your Loyal Fans. Incentivize your subscription site. Hey, I don't answer DMs. My DMs are turned off on Twitter. But if you send me a DM on Loyal Fans as a subscriber, of course I'll answer you. Maybe not right away, but I'll answer you, right? So find ways to incentivize your subscribers for clicking that link and doing what you want them to do. Subscribe. Another part of the question was it better to have a laptop or iPad, or could you just use your phone? When you're streaming from Loyal Fans, it's better to have a bigger screen in front of you, right? It's better to have a bigger screen in front of you. So using an iPad or using a laptop would be better because you can multitask, right? If you are on one device or another, you can, let's say, for example, on Loyal Fans from your iPad, you can be doing your thing over there. And then on your phone, you could be on Twitter. You could be taking pictures of yourself. You can be recording something else. So it's better to have an iPad or a laptop just to make things easier for yourself, to be honest, so that your subscribers can see you, you can see them, you can answer and talk and type in the chat while you're live streaming on Loyal Fans and stuff like that. So for Loyal Fans live streaming, it is better to have a laptop or an iPad versus your phone. That way you can see. Now, if you are using your phone because you don't have access to those kind of devices, that is going to be a little bit more difficult because the screen is naturally going to be smaller. You're not going to be able to see the chat and stuff like that. So for that kind of thing, I would suggest saving that for maybe just like a time where you're just live streaming and talking, right? Like, for example, if you are a sex toy influencer and you need to use your phone to access Loyal Fans and you don't necessarily want to be able to read the chat because, let's say, for example, you're recording your live stream, because you can do that on Loyal Fans. You can have it set up to portrait mode so that you can see as much as you possibly can, and then just go ahead and do your thing with maybe reviewing products and stuff like that. But I would suggest, as best practice for Loyal Fans, to just use to use an iPad or a laptop. Okay. Unique ways to catch attention on Meet. So Meet is one of the apps that I've suggested from my textbook in our course Instadom 101. One of the free textbooks that you're going to get is called One Text at a Time when you become a student with us as a Black woman over the age of 21. And in that book, it suggests the app Meet. Now, Meet is a great place for you to start if you are brand new to financial domination. You don't really have that many subs yet. You don't have any practice or experience talking to men in this specific kind of way, right? Because just because you talk to guys all the time and you're very charismatic does not mean or equate all the way to you being able to talk to gentlemen from the perspective of a Findom, from the dynamic of Dom and sub. So getting that practice under your belt is crucial. And using an app like Meet, it is low stakes. You're getting paid to do it. You're getting paid to respond. And because it is a dating site, and because they are, let's say, not safe for work, you can get away with, having a lot of fun, to say the least, with your clients, with people who you come across, with people who you're chatting with. And in that sense, again, get some practice under your belt. But then again, earn money while you're doing that at the same time. So while you're still learning the game, while you're still establishing your loyal fans, you're still building up your content, you're still gaining followers on Twitter and stuff like that, you'll have all of this in your back pocket, so to speak, of practice and experience. And again, like I said, you're getting paid to do that as well. So one way to catch attention on Quick Chat is one of the features that they have. It depends. It depends on what you're comfortable with. Some women as doms, because we are all in charge of our bodies, right? Nobody can tell you what to do with your body or not. But some girls are more comfortable showing some skin, right? So if you have, because on your phone, you can use Meet on your phone. If you are in a nice lingerie set, right off the top, you answering the camera like that will attract attention. And the focus isn't to capture every single person's attention, because some people may not be worth talking to. And you'll start to see that as you get more practice and experience with Meet as well. You'll have some guys that are, they have their face in the camera and they're like, hey, how you doing? And they want to spark up a conversation. And then other guys you'll see, when they have the camera on, they're doing something totally different. So if they are on the other side, like one thing I would say, which usually works for me to capture attention, is let me see it, to say the least. Like, oh, let me see it. Let me see if it's big enough for me, right? And then, of course, men love to operate in their ego. Men love to show off, right? So that's one way. And then I typically, if the vibe is not right, I'll just be like, it's too small for me. It's too small for me. I'm not feeling it. And then after that time, I've already made, some money, or I've teased them enough. So even after you quick chat with someone, there is a message thread between you and that person to continue the conversation. If the conversation falls short, I like to send a follow-up message and be like, oh, you must be shy or something. Oh, you must be scared to show me. You must not have wanted me to see, or watch you or something like that. And then that usually eggs on the conversation to be like, oh, no, I'm not shy. I thought you hung up. And it's like, no, I didn't. I didn't hang up. You hung up. And then, this banter goes back and forth. And then that's how you can get them back on video chat, continue to get them to talk, continue to get them to text, continue to get them to spend money. So those are some quick tips I would suggest for quick chat. Make sure hey, let me see it. Is it big enough? Let me see it. Go faster. Let me see. Let me watch you do it. Or depending on your outfit, or if the guy wants to spark up a conversation with you first. So you'll just have to feel the room out. Feel the room out for sure. You're just going to have to feel out the room. Feel out the room. Let's see. Another question that I had on my list, I'm trying to go through as many of them as I can before I get to some of them in the chat, because we have a nice 13 questions that we have. So I'm going to get to some of these. Can you talk more about color theory? Okay. So color theory for me has more stuff to do with marketing and psychology. So color theory is a part of psychology and marketing and branding. So when you think about, let's say, for example, when you think about being a dominatrix, when you think about being a Findom, a professional dominatrix, most people go straight to the color red. Why is that? Because most dungeons are red. Red is the energy of power. Red is a color of blood and dominance, control, right? When you think about the color red, you think about dominance, control, power, domination. People just put the two together. That's why more commonly when you see, for example, if you were to Google a BDSM dungeon, and images of a BDSM dungeon, more than likely you're just going to see nothing but red rooms. That's just the stereotypical color of BDSM because of color theory. When you think of the color red, you think of power, control, dominance. So when you think of the color purple, for example, you think of royalty, you think of lavender, you think of peace, you think of ease. When you think of the color blue, you think of sadness, depression. When you think of the color yellow, you think of vibrance and power and like energy. When you think of the color green, you think of nature or money. When you think of the color orange, you think of the sacral chakra, right? So all of these different things in color theory and with color theory feed into psychology, because colors or certain colors that you use in your branding, that you use in your marketing, will trigger a certain response from your audience. And this is why companies and brands do this all the time, right? Companies and brands do this literally all the time. McDonald's does it with those big ass golden arches because, again, the color yellow makes you feel excited, right? The color red thinks of like power, and it's like, ooh, McDonald's, the red, yellow arches. Or when you think of Sprouts grocery store, Sprouts uses the color green in their marketing because a lot of their stuff is organic, a lot of their stuff is fresh, a lot of their stuff is very natural, right? So they want you to associate all of those things with the color green. Same thing with Whole Foods as well. Their label, their logo is green too. Fruits, vegetables, vibrant things, all of that, all of that, all of that. Okay? So when you think about color psychology for your own brand as a Dom, think about a color that feels good to you, right? Usually when you Google color theory, there'll be a color wheel that'll pop up as well. That'll give you a more descriptive, hey, good morning, give you a more descriptive label of, what certain colors mean and the energies associated with those colors. So when you search color theory, you'll find that color wheel and some of those meanings. But what I want you to think about as far as your branding as a pro Dom is to think about what colors align with you. For me, my favorite color is purple. Purple, like I said, makes you think of royalty. It makes you think of elegance, peace, and grace. So again, my favorite color will naturally always have something purple in my branding versus AfroDomme. Pink is not actually my favorite color at all, but my branding for AfroDomme has always been pink because pink makes you think about femininity and feminine power and that softness, but also rigidness of femininity. So for me, that's why I branded AfroDomme pink, even though I do not like the color pink. And yes, my shirt is pink right now, and I'm more comfortable about pink, but pink is not my favorite color at all. And everybody knows in this capitalist ass, male ass society that they make pink things for women, right? So if you're a woman and you want a hammer and nail set, your set for some reason is going to be pink instead of just a regular fucking color, right? When you think about breast cancer, it's pink. When you think about women's razors versus male razors, the razors are pink for femininity for women. That's just what it is. So color theory plays a big part into psychology and the way that we think and the way that we feel, even if you do not, on the forefront of your mind, remember it, believe it. It really does play a big part in it. So another reason, and Madame Caramel has done this as well. She's talked about how Madame Caramel is an incredible pro dominatrix. If you've never heard of her, she's an award-winning dominatrix out in the United Kingdom. Great woman to connect with if you haven't already. But she even talks about color theory as well in the choosings of her dungeons and why she chose to paint her dungeon in Huxton blue instead of red. Because red is more commonly known in the BDSM industry, and blue is not typically a color of a dungeon. So for her, it was one, for her to stand out, and two, for color psychology, it gives off a different level of energy than the stereotypical red dungeon. Just the stereotypical red. The next question was to talk about lighting. I'm going to have to skip that for a second because I would rather do that with some actual manipulatives. Clip creation, I'm going to have to skip for a second because I would definitely rather do that with a manipulative. Angles as well, that's all going to play into photography, setting up your stuff. So that would be a lot better to do with some manipulative that I have in my commercial property that I don't have with me right now. Somebody asked about safety and things like that, whether you need a VPN. If you want to go that far and get a VPN, you can do that. I don't see it necessary. I don't have a VPN. People are weird these days, but to constantly be on the lookout for people to steal your IP address and they'll do all of these nefarious things with it just because you're a Findom is a level of anxiety that you just don't need to have. At the end of the day, if you want a VPN, you're more than welcome to get it, but it's not that deep. At the end of the day, when you're doing things above the table as a Findom and you have your LLC, you have all of your legal paperwork, if anything is to happen to you, you can sue someone. This is not an illegal form of sex work. You don't have to operate of like this energy of like, oh my God, like I have to constantly be aware of like people doing all of these crazy things to me, because it's serious, but it's not that deep. Like it's serious to take care of your safety, but it's also not that deep that you have to constantly be like hyper vigilant. Because again, when you're moving with integrity and you're not doing weird shit, you're not going to attract those things. And then again, when you're above the table, right, and you're only connecting with people who vibrate at a certain energy, you know how to protect yourself. You can sue someone. If someone's to grab your IP address, why would they do that? Nobody knows. But you can sue that person. You can sue that person. You can sue that person. It's not that deep. What they can't take your IP address and do anything with it. But they can find your address or something. That's not that deep. If somebody finds your address and pops up at your house, you have every right to shoot that fucking person dead. You have the right to defend yourself, right? Like nobody's going to do that, right? You don't have to operate as if that's going to happen for you, because that's what you're going to manifest, right? If you think about it from that instance, you don't have to be hyper vigilant of everything and every certain thing, because then you're going to manifest that. You're going to manifest weirdos that are in your IP address and trying to find your address and all of that. That's weirdo shit. You don't have to operate like that. Most people who are genuinely submissive don't want that for them, so they're not going to do it to other people, especially not the person who's actually the service provider. At the end of the day, you're a businesswoman, you're a service provider. Your client, your customer wants the same level of protection and safety and discretion that you do, so they're not going to do that. Anyone who's coming out of their pocket thousands of dollars to work with you as a professional dominatrix is not going to risk their personal safety or their career or their livelihood either, by doing some weirdo shit. They're going to want the same level of discretion as you. And then again, when you're operating above the table, you have your paperwork and things like that. You can sue people. You can put people on contracts, so those kinds of things don't happen. You can put people on non-disclosure agreements or NDAs. And a part of your screening process is to vet people. So once you have that a clearer understanding of who your ideal client is, what kind of things and sessions that you want to experience and things that you want to experience as the pro dom, you can curate what kind of energy you allow around you. And if people are giving you the wrong vibe, then don't work with them. You can absolutely turn down money. Like I said, all money is not good money. Shorty that just, made $11,000 and now is a murderer, catching a murder charge, she's learning in real time that not all money is good money. Okay, so $11,000 is a lot of money to turn down. But if it's between you having $11,000 and now you being a fucking murderer, then yeah, turn it down. Turn down the money. And I've done it. I've left money on the table before. I've left thousands of dollars on the table before because I knew that it just wasn't going to be worth it, right? I had this one guy who's been my sub for years, paid my car note for years, and really wanted to do a toilet session, like water sports, hard sports and water sports is the appropriate name for it. Water sports and hard sports. He always talked about it for years. He talked about it while he was paying my car note, but I always knew that he wasn't serious. His get off was the fantasy of us talking about doing a session. I always knew that he wasn't actually going to follow through with the session because he was afraid of it. Water sports and hard sports. That's a very specific kind of fetish to have, and it can be very dangerous because again, in water sports and hard sports, for his instance, he wants to consume those things. That's dangerous, not only gross, but dangerous to do, right? So, one, you have to have someone who has experience and practice with that. And of course, I'm a professional, but at the same time, I knew that he was not really serious about it. And it even got up to a point where very recently he was like, "Oh, I'll definitely fly you out. I'll give you $20,000. It just, you know what? I'm ready to do it. We've been talking about it for years. I know I've been scared for years, but I really want to do this now, finally. And I'm gonna fly you out to Houston and give you $20,000 and pay for your hotel and pay for a rental car, Range Rover, just like you say you want. I'm gonna pay for all of that. Let's do it." And I was like, "No, no." Because for me, like I said, and I had to break it down for him in a real deal conversation, I'm saying no after years and years and years because I know that this conversation is the get off for you. You don't actually have the balls to follow through with a session like this. You don't actually have the balls to, even if you were to drop the money, to actually show up to the hotel after that and actually go through with the session, right? Like, you just like the fantasy of it. You just like to talk. So no, I'm not going to actually continue this conversation over and over and over again about, ooh, when can we book this session? When can we book this session? I don't give a fuck how much you offer me. And he respected that because at the end of the day, he knew that he was fucking bluffing. He knew that he wasn't going to follow through with that. And of course, he absolutely still pays. He absolutely still tributes. He absolutely still provides for me at month after month, auto bill, you know. But we had to have that real deal sit down as me, the pro, as me, the one in charge of the relationship. You are not actually ready for what you want. You are not actually capable of doing what you want to do as a submissive. And what you really want to do is up there. This isn't like just foot fetish or butt worship or breast worship or impact play or something like that. You are talking about biohazard level kinks. You're not ready for that kind of stuff. You've never been ready for that kind of stuff. Even when he was ordering custom videos and we would fantasy role play the act of it, you would still be nervous and anxious. You're not ready for it. So I'm not going to book the session with you. You're going to stop asking me for this session and you're going to continue spending your money. And he agreed to it and he still spends money. But that's how you turn money down that would otherwise put you in a dangerous situation. That's how you turn money down and walk away from situations that just don't feel right. That's how you use your discernment to understand who your client is and if he's full of shit and just wants the fantasy and likes the idea of it, or if someone's truly ready to have what they want and ready to experience a real deal session with a professional. Yeah, that man that reached out to that OnlyFans model knew for a fact that girl did not have enough experience. And if he damn sure didn't check her credentials. He was willing to risk it. And it's not, oh, that's what he wanted. No, he didn't. He wanted a smothering session. He did not want to die. He wanted maybe the fantasy of dying, coming close to dying. But did he actually want to fucking die? No. No, he didn't. He wanted to be suffocated, smothered, gasping for air a little bit, and then come back to life. He did not want to die. He did not want that. I promise you he didn't. So this is just my thing, when it comes to really keeping yourself safe, really making sure that you are prepared for what it is that you want, prepared for your sessions. And somebody even asked in this other question that kind of feeds into this next one of creating content with other DOMs or being invited to do so, what to look for, what to consider. So this could be is a double Dom session or a content creation session. So when you're getting ready for real-time sessions and stuff like that, that is a whole different ball game than the online world. And I always suggest that as a new Dom, you start off online because that's the safest place for you to be, to get some practice under your belt with talking to guys, even doing sessions. Of course, naturally, you're not touching your submissive in a virtual session on Skype, he's doing all of those things to himself, but you being able to control the conversation, control the room, control the energy, tell him to stop, safety words, taking a break, reminding him to get water, aftercare. That's going to be your first practice or first couple of experiences with that. And then those transferable skills will move over into real time. But in order to prepare truly for real time sessions, for content creation, that is a whole nother bag. So I think I have one video on here about how to prepare, kind of generally speaking, for Fly Me to You sessions. I'm going to do another specific video for preparing for real time. But to answer the question specifically about content creation, say you're linking up with another Dom to do content creation, right? Are you guys going to this person's house? Are they coming to your house? Or is it better to go to a hotel or Airbnb? I would suggest a hotel because a lot of people in the sex industry have been saying horrible things about Airbnbs, people having secret cameras inside of Airbnbs, people being kicked out because the owner found out through a secret camera that they were in there creating porn, which they shouldn't have known, but whatever. So it's best in our industry to go to a hotel when you are creating content, especially if you know that your home doesn't have the aesthetic that you're looking for, or if you are double doming with someone that you don't want in your home or whatever else, right? It's best to go to a hotel, have your own room, right? If you're going to be, let's say, for example, linking with a Dom friend that you actually know in real life, you've like known them for years and you guys got into Findom together, that's a different story. But if you actually don't know someone and you're just meeting them from the industry, you guys can choose the same hotel, but make sure that you have your own room. Not that people are weird like that, but again, it's just safety measures these days, right? Safety measures. Same hotel, 2 different rooms. You have your room, they have theirs, right? So you both can get ready, or if you wind up, both having a client, you guys have your own private spaces to be with clients and stuff like that. One thing I typically like to do when I am filming in a hotel is to remove all signs of what hotel I'm in. So naturally, the hotel telephone that they always sit on the table, right? Get rid of that, put that on the ground or something like that. So when you're filming, those kinds of pieces are not in the video, right? Make sure that you have a ring light, proper equipment, things like that. You also want to have an agreement with your girlfriend or whoever you're double doming with. For example, if you are posting to I Want Clips, you and this person will also have to sign model release forms for each other. So in order for you to post the clip on your I Want Clips with someone else in it, your other, your Dom friend, she's going to have to sign a model release for you and give you her ID so that you can upload that video to your I Want Clips and vice versa. You're going to have to sign a model release for her and give her your ID so that she can upload you to her I Want Clips and etc. That way, both of you guys can be in compliant with the FCC laws that are attached to I Want Clips, as far as both of you guys being adult content creators, sex trafficking prevention, all of those good things. That's why they ask for that kind of stuff. As far as preparing for sessions like that, double dom content creation, you want to make sure, as always, when you're creating content, that you want to have all of your gear with you, different kinds of jewelry and accessories so you can do different scenes and batch content out together. You want to come up with maybe a shared script. So if you guys are just doing like solo content where it's just you and your girlfriend on camera together, you want to kind of like talk about what kind of clip that you want to create. Like, are we going to do a foot fetish? Are we going to do a smoking clip together? Are we going to do a humiliation clip together where we're just berating the camera as if it's a sub? Or are we going to get a sub in here? Are we going to double dom and get subs in here? And if we are double doming and getting subs in here and filming, we also have to know that we got to get that subs ID and have them do a model release as well. And if we are double doming, how are we going to split this pot? Are we splitting the money? Is he paying me and then I give you a cut of it? Is he paying the both of it and both of us and we just split it down the middle? Like, all of that needs to be taken into consideration. Or is this just a personal sub that someone has that maybe is not paying you guys and you guys are just using him for content or whatever? All of those things have to be discussed prior to linking, prior to meeting, in the setup phase, so that you truly know, again, as always, if this is the right thing for you, how to properly budget your expenses for travel and stuff like that. Because if you guys are going to charge this up, your hotel, her hotel, your transportation, her transportation, the normal cost of a session, your normal cost of a session, plus some taxes and fees, add it all up together, right? So if my normal session or my normal 1 hour session is $3,000, and then out of that $3,000, I'm gonna add, a couple, like 500 extra for transportation to the hotel, a night at the hotel, whatever, gas in the car, whatever I need. Well, shit, that's $3,500 for me. But what if the other dom that you're working with don't charge $3,000 for a session? She only charged like 500. Well, now you guys are not necessarily a match for each other, because ideally, if she charged 500 and then she add on another 200-300 for taxes and expenses, she wants 700 and you want 3,500. So that means now the sub's gonna have to pay $4,000, $5,000. Somebody gonna be jealous that you getting 3,500 and they only getting 7. So make sure that you guys come up with a good price. You guys come up with a good rate. Your rates match each other, which is why I specifically say for my students, you guys need to be using our price scale model that we have inside of the AfroDomme Network for you. You need to be using your price scale model because you need to be accurately charging for your work. There's no fucking reason why you should be charging $500 for a session when people are able to make $3,000 for that same type of session, right? So really take a look at, are you ready for real-time sessions? Are you ready for this kind of stuff? Are you pricing yourself competitively enough? Because when you are double doming, you do combine rates in order to go half on them. And if the other chick, is bringing the sub and the sub has agreed to pay $1,000 and y'all gonna split that and get 500 and 500, and that's not usually what you take for yourself, that's not usually what you charge. And if that price doesn't work for you, you're gonna have to negotiate a price. Right? Because maybe some of her subs are cheap and some of your subs are more expensive. Or pay attention to this as well. I'm not saying that every single person is a op, every single person's going to go against you, but I've had experiences like this where girls wanted to double dom with me because they knew I charged more, because they knew my subs made more money. So it would be examples of, okay, well, you gonna bring a sub and I'm gonna bring a sub. And they was like, oh no, we can just use your sub. No, we can just have your sub come through and then we can just split it. We could just have my sub come through. What? No, you want my sub to come through because you know I'm going to charge him 3,500 and you want to go half on my 3,500 and say, oh, we're double doming together, so we should be able to split what you usually charge in half. Are you double doming with me because you want my money, or do you want to double dom with me because you actually want to network, you actually want to, collaborate, right? So you'll see in the plannings, you'll see in the conversations, the follow-ups with people, when you're working with people, how serious they are, their true intentions and stuff like that. I've tried to do double dom sessions with lots of people where we were going to go up to New York, for example, and do stuff. And I realized, and I wound up cutting it short because I had realized, well, we had sat and talked about this double dom session that we were going to do. And I'm the only one promoting the bitch. You know what I'm saying? I'm the only one on Twitter promoting the fact that we're about to double dom, promoting the fact that we're going to go up to New York and da-da-da-da. And this other girl, she not posting it at all, or she only retweeting what I'm posting. She's not actually making her own post, meaning she's trying to ride off of my coattails. She's trying to ride off of the platform that I have and the income that I can generate off of one sub versus actually bringing that same energy to the table, bringing her own subs, doing her own marketing so that we can truly collaborate on this. True collaboration versus somebody just trying to dick ride off of what you got going on. So you got to look out for that. And you'll be able to see that when you're having conversations with folks. Like I said, not everybody's an op. Not everybody's going to be doing shady shit, but you definitely want to use your discernment and pay attention because you will be able to see if this person's trying to collaborate with me because they really want to work with me, like we are sisters, we have this sense of like bonding and understanding with each other, or no, this person just wants to use my following, my subs, my income to bring themselves up. Okay, so that's some things that I would say look out for based on good and bad experiences that I've had with trying to collaborate with people in this industry. Some things, like I said, I will spin the block on. So when it comes to like lighting, camera angles, editing, I'm definitely going to spin the block on that and just do a whole live stream based on that kind of stuff in itself. Safety as a, the way that she wrote it is funny. Safety as a thick or BBW with trampling. Stepping on people, smothering people, this, that, and the third. You got to know your weight, baby. Okay? When you a thick girl, you got to know your weight. And at the end of the day, just like, you know, we always joke about when we talk about big girls having sex and stuff like that, big girls being in relationships, niggas know you thick. They know you're thick. They know you heavy. They know you don't weigh 125 pounds. When they looking at that thick fat ass, they know that you heavy, okay? They know that you gonna weigh something, okay? And that's exactly what they want, okay? However, you still need to have safety practices in mind. You always want to have a safe word. You always want to go over all known and unknown risks of what you're doing. So trampling as a thick girl, you got the ability to crush somebody. You already know that. You fat as hell. You thick as hell. You heavy as a bitch. You're not light as a feather, okay? So if you step on someone, it's gonna hurt. You're not 90 pounds. It's gonna hurt if you step on a motherfucker. So know your limits. You never want to just, even if you're doing a smothering session and you're not trampling somebody, even if you're smothering somebody, you never want to just drop all your weight onto that person's face or something like that, because that's how people suffocate and die. But you want to know your limits. You want to carry your weight well, disperse your weight. Like if you're doing a smothering session and you are sitting on someone's face, you want to, you know, kind of disperse some of that weight to your knees and like lean onto a pillow or something like that, so that your whole 200-300 pound ass ain't really on that person's face, suffocating them, crushing them, etc. You also want to do it on a soft surface versus a hard floor, so that let's say, for example, pillows, mattresses, or some type of cushiony surface can also eat the blow of your weight, because you trampling someone on a concrete floor is not going to have the same impact on that person's bones, organs, body as you doing that on a soft mattress. It's going to kind of eat some of that weight, cushion some of that blow. Okay, so there's certain things that you can do to just make sure that the sessions are comfortable and fun, and that you're not hurting anyone. For example, when I am trampling, I don't put my whole weight on someone. I'm like braced up onto a wall so that I'm kind of dispersing my weight around onto different objects versus 100% on that person's bones, on that person's body. And then again, using the impact play model that we have, there's a section of Domme 101 where we talk about impact play and certain safety zones that you want to stay away from on the body so that you avoid certain organs. You want to do or use that same model that we have in our course, so that, you know, when you're trampling someone, again, let's not step on this part of this person's back, because that has something to do with this person's appendix or vital organs and things like that. So really taking your time to prepare for sessions, really taking your time to prepare for what it is that your clients are asking for you, and even if it's worth doing it. Even if it's worth doing it, and if they're ready for something like that. Because let's say, for example, you want to do a trampling session. Let's say, I don't really know, but I'm just going to use a silly example. You don't want to trample someone that has glass bones and paper skin, right? Like, you don't want the session to already start and you're already stepping and stamping on this person, and then you found out that this person got glass bones and paper skin. You want to ask all of those questions up front in your screening process before y'all even get to a session, to make sure that you're doing this with someone who can actually handle it. With someone who can actually handle it. Do you have a heart condition? Do you have any medical conditions that are going to make this session fucking crazy? Do you have any medical conditions as an older man that are going to make you so excited. And like, if you get too excited, if your dick gets so hard, it flows so much blood to your head that you're going to have a fucking heart attack or something because you're 85 years old and you ain't been this excited in years and your heart can't handle it. Now I done killed your old ass. Or I done sent you into a seizure. Are you epileptic? Right? Are there certain things that maybe trigger you to have a seizure? Even if you haven't had a seizure in 40 years, are you still epileptic nonetheless? Do you have high blood pressure? Do you have hypertension? What the fuck else? Like, so many things you have to know. You have to ask the right kinds of questions. You have to ask questions that you wouldn't even try to ask. You wouldn't even think to ask. Did your doctor tell you that you can't do certain shit? Right? Did your doctor tell you that you can't be running around and doing stuff because your heart can't handle it? Because baby, if your doctor told you that your heart can't handle you running around in a circle, you damn sure can't handle this ass when it's coming down on your face, because your heart is going to be right out your chest. And I'm not about to be responsible for that. That's also why you put people on contractual agreements depending on what kind of stuff they're doing. Now, does somebody maybe necessarily need a contract for you to do some foot fetish stuff with them over Skype? No. But if somebody's trying to do some heavy bondage, needle play, knife play, something where some serious risks are concerned, we can absolutely do that. But go ahead and sign this paper to say that you legally agree to what's about to happen. We can absolutely book this smothering session, but go ahead and sign this paper for me, just in case some shit go awry, so that I have on record, okay, that you consented to this at this time, and I am not liable for anything that happens as a result. What that girl on OnlyFans should have did was that, but she wasn't smart enough to figure that out. So I hope that she uses that $11,000 that she got to find a lawyer. Okay, because that could have very easily been avoided. Like, if she had some education, he wouldn't have died. She would have been able to do the session and just be happy that she got a session and $11,000. And then two, if she was smart enough to realize that the risks that were going into this, she would have put him on a contract that said, hey, he consented to this. He consented to all of the risks. He consented that he was not going to, him, his family, whoever else, are not going to try to pursue me for any litigations as a result of what happened in this session. And even if he got hurt, even if he didn't die, if he got like a bruise or something like that, or he got a cut or something like that, she would have had him on paper saying he consented to all these different, he consented to this, knowing the risks, and that she's not going to be held liable. That's all she had to do. A contract and actually getting herself some fucking education. That's all she had to do. It was not that hard. She could have literally taken that $11,000, waited for OnlyFans to pay out, because OnlyFans don't take that long to pay out. She could have took that fucking money, booked the session, for like several weeks after payout to really make sure that she had the money, even if she didn't know what she was doing. Took that money, took at least $500 to $1,000 to a pro dom to really show her how to do it. Take another $200 to get her LLC if she did not have that yet. Because again, she had $11,000 at her fucking disposal, my nigga. She could have still walked away. She could have spent $2,000 of that and still been up. And took that $2,000 and got mentoring and got her LLC and was able to expedite the LLC because she had extra cash. She would have been able to expedite the LLC on top of that. Then got a lawyer to generate an NDA agreement for her. Then got another lawyer to generate a contractual agreement for her in adult entertainment, all above the table. In adult entertainment, she could have had a lawyer draft up a contract to give to the sub to say, hey, these are the risks. I'm not responsible. This LLC, me operating under this LLC is not going to be held responsible for anything that happens. You, your family, whoever else is not going to pursue me. All she had to do was do that. And it probably wouldn't even cost her a whole $2,000 to do that out of $11,000 that she had. But she did not have the education. She probably didn't give a fuck to give the education. And she had dollar signs in her fucking eyes like a Looney Tunes cartoon. And now her ass is about to go to jail. And it all could have been avoided. It all could have been avoided. She could have finessed it so good that the sub would have never knew that she didn't have any experience. She could have finessed this so good that she would have really been up and at least walking away with $8,000. Hey, I made $8,000 on OnlyFans. I got my paperwork now. Now I'm manifesting subs that's paying $11,000 per session. I'm that bitch. She could have really used this to her advantage instead of going to fucking jail and being a murderer, my nigga. All because she did not have the education. She probably didn't give a fuck to get the education. She didn't see it was valuable. And now, now I'm sure she has a lot of regrets. I'm sure she has a lot of regrets. So you just take everything into account, and make sure that you're taking care of yourself above all else. Taking care of yourself above all else. Okay. Things we do not see enough of in the Findom scene. We really don't see enough of people being them fucking selves. We don't see enough of people being themselves. And when I say that, it's like everybody wants to be this cookie cutter version of Findom. Everybody wants to do the fuck you, pay me, I'm a bratty bitch. Like, we need people who are comfortable being themselves. You're not Hannah Montana. Okay, you're not Miley Cyrus one day, and then when you hop on Findom internet, you Hannah Montana. No. Do you have to bring every facet of your life to the internet as a Findom? No, you do not. But at the same time, you very much need to be yourself. You don't need to put on this cookie cutter, fake ass personality in order to be successful. You don't have to be the stereotypical Domme of whips and chains and leather and latex if that's not what you align with. We got girlies that read tarot cards. We got girlies that got the Erykah Badu aesthetic, the Jill Scott aesthetic, the Janae Aiko aesthetic. You know, like, find yourself and allow your personality to really shine through in your branding and your marketing, because that's what helps you stand out. 60 different bitches saying, fuck you, pay me, pay pig, is not going to help you stand out in the crowd. But you really operating in your true divine feminine, you knowing yourself, you putting that to the forefront, really makes you magical, really helps you stand out, really makes you profitable and popular. It does. Absolutely. So, and that's going back to the first question that we talked about of like mistakes that newbies are making. They're not being themselves. They want to replicate me. They want to replicate the next bitch. They want to replicate somebody who's already in the industry. And we don't need another me. You're not going to be me. We don't need another me. We don't need another Madame Caramel. We don't need another Mistress Marley, because we don't even need her. We talking about it. We don't need people who are trying to be this another version of this other person. We need you to be yourself. We need you to be yourself. And for some people, that scares people because they've never been themselves before. They've never been in an environment where they could be themselves. So now that not only are you trying to find yourself, but now it's like, well, that's the difference between you sinking or swimming. Me being myself is the difference between sinking or swimming as a financial dominatrix. Well, I don't know how to do that because I've never been myself before. So for a lot of people, that is a struggle that they face. But really what we need in this industry are people who are unafraid to be themselves, unafraid to explore kink and BDSM unapologetically, to really exactly, it's more fun when you're being yourself because you're doing things that come naturally to you. People can see that energy from you, right? You're not someone that's just copy and pasting or regurgitating the next thing off of a script, because people can tell when you're doing that too. People can tell when, oh, she just doing what everybody else is fucking doing. Oh, well, she just copying off of some type of script. Like, she got the look, but something about her is just generic. It's just blah, right? When you look at another Dom's content, and I'm sure you'll see that before, you know, we're not bashing nobody else, but I'm sure you come across another Dom's page and was just like, well, something about her it just feel inauthentic. It just feel generic, right? Because she's not actually being herself, or she's still trying to find herself. Okay. So I suggest being yourself. As far as kinks and niches that we are really undertapped in this industry, hardcore domination is undertapped. Because again, because of all of the bitches that have gone viral and has given you guys terrible advice about what Findom is, nobody really wants to do BDSM anymore. Y'all want to be vanilla dominatrices, even though that's not even a fucking thing. That's literally an oxymoron. Vanilla means you're not in the industry at all. There's no such thing as a vanilla dominatrix. But you got girls that want to be vanilla dominatrices and they don't want to do anything. They don't want to, explore BDSM. They don't like pegging. They don't like impact play. They don't like foot fetish. They don't like nothing. And it's like, oh, I just want the money. How is you finna get it? Because you having a Twitter and a Cash App don't make you a Findom. It don't make you shit. Right? Like, you being a dominatrix, you're a dominatrix at the end of the day. Like, the whole point of Findom is you being in BDSM. Findom is a niche of BDSM, so you can't be in BDSM or be a Findom and not do BDSM at all. That doesn't make sense. You're a dominatrix. That's the whole point. So it's like, we need people in our industry who are actually willing and interested in actually doing kink, hardcore kink, right? The whips, the chains, really taking it there to that level. Everybody and their mother showing their feet. We don't need more people doing foot content. I can tell you that right now. We do not need more people showing their feet. I don't give a fuck how pretty you think your toes is. We do not need more people showing their feet. We do need more people who are serious about Findom, who are serious about investing into their community, who are serious about regulating our industry so that we have more safety checks and balances in place so subs aren't fucking dying at the hands of uneducated and inexperienced OnlyFans models who want to pretend to be dominatrices. That's what we do need, you know. That's what we do need. People who are serious about investing in their education so that they learn the game of BDSM. So again, subs are not dying at the hands of OnlyFans models who don't know what the fuck they doing. That's what we do need. We do need more people who are into knife play, needle play, electroshock therapy, gas masks, all of the stuff that's really, really fun. And those things come with, education comes with the territory, because you can't do shit with knives and needles and not know what the fuck you're doing. You know what I'm saying? You can't do shit with electrotherapy and not know what the fuck you're doing. Especially, again, if someone's epileptic. Yeah. We need people who are really hardcore into, get in their bag in this industry and really seeing like all these untapped markets and really willing to go into them and not just go into them blindly so that you can hurry up and make as much cash as possible. Like, knowing what you're doing and getting the education. So then, as an educated person, you can make as much money as possible. Because when you think about knife play, needle play, just as an example, because of the biohazard that goes into that, because of how risky it is, because of the level of education that you're going to need, you can charge $5,000-$10,000 for a session. Easy. Because you know what you're doing. You know how to sanitize your equipment. You're going to talk about the fact that you sanitize equipment and show people that you know how to sanitize your equipment. You're going to, like all of the people that we see on the timelines when they have the needles in a sub's back and then they have the lacing, pretty lacing all tied in a bow. So it's like a needle corset. Nobody's going to do that with you if you're not experienced. People aren't going to trust you with their literal body, with their literal lives, blood-borne pathogens and needles and all of that thing. Nobody's going to trust you to do that unless you are truly highly qualified. And as a highly qualified person doing stuff like that, if you got a nursing license or phlebotomy, this and that, that's a transferable skill to have. Now, do you need to put it out there that you're a nurse and all of that other stuff so you can risk your license? No, absolutely not. But you can absolutely put it out there that you know what you're doing. You have experience. You know how to keep things sanitary. You have a license, but you're not going to expose the information on the license or whatever else, and charge upwards of $10,000, $15,000 for your time. Because of the biohazard that goes into it, because of the thrill of the kink and all these other things that you got to do, you can make a killing off of that. One sub a month, $10,000, easy. On a lesser kink, because some people aren't ready for needles and knives, I would say Black New World Order. Race play is an underdeveloped niche in the Findom community, because for years, y'all have only associated race play with white girls going on L1 clips and saying nigger, 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 nigger all day. So race play became controversial in our industry because of white women, but race play is still weaved into everything that we do. As a Black dominatrix, what? As a Black dominatrix, whether you think you're doing race play or not, you are, because people are only approaching you because you Black. I'm gonna say it again. Even if you don't think that you're participating in race play as a Findom, you are, because your clients are only approaching you because you're Black. Right? I don't give a fuck if they say it to your face or not. They're fetishizing your Blackness. That's why they booked you. So whether you say that you're into it or not, you're actively participating in race play. That's why that white man wants to be your slave. as a black person. That's why that white man wants to be your slave. Whether he says he's into race play or not, he is. Right? So for me, race play looks like Black New World Order and other things that I can't quite say here on YouTube. But that is another undeveloped niche or undeveloped avenue of Findom that we need more people, more black women confident about stepping into. Yeah. More black women confident about stepping into those things. Now, someone asked about the TikTok ban, if there's any changes that we need to implement as far as UGC content and gaining followers. I'm still on the fence with TikTok because there's still a lot of stuff floating around with whether TikTok is going to be here or not, if it's going to go away or not, and we're just kind of right back into that loop with them. So I still think that TikTok is a great opportunity. And I'm still going to always push that you use TikTok and YouTube as your UGC, because it's not just TikTok. You can make the content on TikTok, but then download the content and put it on YouTube. Download the content and put it on your Amazon storefront, stuff like that. So I would definitely say for now, keep using it. But as far as changes, I haven't really seen too many things. I just turned my creator rewards back on because I had turned it off a while ago. So I just turned my creator rewards back on. So I'll probably have to swing back in April. I'll probably have to swing back in April to really give a concrete update, because since the ban and since we've been back, the only changes that we've seen are more technical glitches versus benefits for us right now. So right now, the best thing I could say is just keep pushing out your content, keep producing your content as if nothing's going wrong. But then again, do yourself a favor and, make sure you syndicate your content by putting it on your YouTube as well. So that you can have, that as a backup in case TikTok does hit the shits. You'll already have, all of your TikTok content moved to YouTube, and then YouTube can pay you as well. So that's what I'll say for now. And then my last question for now is night flirt tips and tricks, specifically on bidding and how to boost your profiles so that you get more callers. So everybody knows that just because you have a night flirt set up and after you make your account, that does not mean that the phone is just going to start jumping off the ringer. Night flirt is heavy on self-promotion the same way loyal fans is. So you still want to incentivize your callers, incentivize people to hop on that phone and talk to you. So for example, when I'm on YouTube, I typically drop in the comment section, especially if I know there's a lot of men for some reason commenting on my posts on YouTube, I'll drop my night flirt number over here so that instead of talking to me on YouTube as a man, you can call me on night flirt. Or when I'm on live on Loyal Fans, I'll drop my 800 number and the extension and be like, hey, you want to talk to me private? Here's my telephone number and extension, right? So self-promotion is going to be your biggest thing here when it comes to night flirt. But if you are on the platform and you want to, let's say, for example, big, you got a little bit of money in your pocket, you can spend about $5, $10 on boosting your profile on night flirt to, I would say, the top 10 to top 15%. There's no need to, try to force yourself to spend all this money to get at the top 1% on the list, because there's no guarantee that you're going to get a call. It's just going to give you more visibility. So what you want to do is go from wherever point you're at in the listing to at least the top 15, okay, in your bidding. And just do that every week or so, every month or so, especially if you have not been active in a little minute, because that'll get you more visibility on the website. People are going to the website. They're going to see you in those discover, explore pages, so to speak. They'll be more likely to call, or they'll be more likely to add you to their favorites list. Now, I've talked about this before. Once someone adds you to their favorites list, they didn't necessarily call, but they added you to their favorites. Once they do that, they are now added to your content or contact book. You can then go in to make sure you get your money's worth, because they clicked your profile and favorited you. They didn't call, but them clicking your profile absolutely took some money out of that, out of your account from that bid that you placed. So you paid for it. make sure you follow through for yourself, for your business. And once that person's in your contact book and they favorited you, use the messaging function that I've talked about before to send them a message. Send everybody in your contact book a message. I'm going online tonight. I look forward to talking to you. Here's a sexy picture of myself. Something right. I'm not saying say that word for word, but get creative. Use the messaging center as email marketing. I'm going to be active. I'm going to be online at this time. This is what I'm wearing right now. I'm dreaming about a specific fetish or fantasy that I would love to explore with you tonight. Really try to get creative and attract the people that you want. You can't just have the Nightflirt listing and sit there and, be active and online and think that calls are going to naturally flow to you, especially when you do not have that clientele yet. You haven't really made too much traction to have like people who have talked to you and already know, your vibe and want to call back and just be like, hey, goddess, it's me calling again, right? You're still trying to get people on the phone for the first time. So boost your ads, right? Boost your profile and then follow through when people are favoriting your profile because they are going to be in your contact book. And continue with that with a sense of consistency through the messaging system. It doesn't have to be every day. It could be every other day, but continue to follow through with those messages and you'll get people that are going to be like, well, hey, I'm calling you because I saw your message, or, hey, I'm not available to hop on the phone. But I'm seeing that you're sending me messages. So here's a tip. Here's a tip for you. It's like some cash because I don't have the time to hop on the phone with you now, goddess, but I do have you in my favorite profile and I'm going to call you as soon as possible, right? Like nurture that contact book. Nurture that contact book on Nightflirt and it will continue to work for you in your favor. Another tip I used to talk about was like business cards when you're going out to parties. If you had a business card as a dominatrix versus the online world, your business card should have your Nightflirt telephone number on it and your extension for people to call. So those are a few tips and tricks and a couple of different questions. The other ones that I didn't get to were more about content creation, lighting, angles, how to finesse that, video editing. And like I said, I'm going to swing back around for a more in-depth kind of walkthrough on how to do that and how to set that up. But if there are any other questions that you guys have in the chat, I would love that. I would love that. I have a question. Somebody said I have a question because I get approached by devotees a lot as someone who has or someone with a disability. I've been considering exploring that, but it's not my kink. I'm not too sure what you mean. Like, are they trying to fetishize your disability? Because then if that is the case, then that would come down to your comfortableness with that, right? Like there is always going to be a kink and always going to be a fetish for something. Like, for example, there are kinks and people who have... Okay, sorry. There are kinks and people who have fetishes for fat women, plus size women. But I specifically do not have a kink for being fetishized because I am fat. Right. So I don't, like, some girls do when they are plus size. Some girls do like content of them eating and stuff like that and like showing their stomach in the camera, and like guys like that she's eating and the guys like that she's like really big and she wants to make herself bigger, like the feeder kind of fetish. I do not align with that personally. I don't like, I'm a plus size girl. I know being a BBW is a fetish, but I don't take it to the extent of me allowing myself and portraying myself as if I want to be fetishized because of how much I weigh or because I have a stomach. I'm not going to put my stomach out there and just be like, I'm eating this Chipotle bowl. Like, I don't know. Something about it for me is making me uncomfortable. Like, it's given my 600-pound life where we just be watching them eat like 6 pizzas in a car and like a 30-minute episode. Like, I don't want that for me, so I just don't do it. So I'm not sure if you were meaning that somebody was like trying to fetishize you because of your disability specifically, but if that doesn't make you comfortable, then just don't do it. That's the whole point of being yourself. And And that's what I was talking about earlier of the importance of being yourself, because you should never be doing things that make you feel uncomfortable. I don't give a fuck how much a sub wants to claim to pay you or how much they seem to be interested in it. If it's not something that you're interested in, just don't fucking do it. Like, not all money is good money. And if you're going to be corrupting your morals and values and beliefs for, some pieces of paper and doing shit that makes you feel shitty, doing shit that feels degrading to you just because somebody else says that that's their kink, then don't do it. That's not right. Because then in that case, like, you're not the dom anymore. You're the submissive. Like, at that point, you're just doing shit because he says it, because he has a fetish for it, but you don't like it. At that point, you're the sub and he's telling you what to do. So you never want to put yourself in that kind of situation, because you always want to be in the mindset of you doing what you want and being comfortable and confident and sexy, and living your life the way you see fit, not the way your client sees fit. The customer's not right. We are not in an industry where the customer's always right. This is not Burger King. You cannot have it your way, motherfucker. This is financial domination. You are here to serve me. I am the service provider, absolutely. But I'm going to do what the fuck I want. Okay. And it's like I said, it's other girls that may do that. It's other girls that may fetishize their disabilities. It's other girls that may fetishize the fact that they're plus size and their weight or whatever else. But if that's not me, then that's not me. And if that's not you, then that's not you. Period. Period. So I'm going to go take a break. It is 10:19 on a beautiful Thursday morning. We got a 2-for-1 live special today. So I just did another reading just a few minutes ago before I started this live. So make sure you guys watch that as well. Run up those likes. I greatly appreciate it. You can book a personal reading for tarot cards with me in the link in my bio. You can become a student with the AfroDomme Network now in the link in my bio as well, or schedule a one-to-one consultation with me. I highly suggest that you do so, because we have incredible content, incredible resources, and a cesspool of just knowledge and wealth in store for you. So definitely check us out and join us. There's going to be some great things happening for us in the spring. I can't say too much, because y'all know how ancestors get and spirit get when they tell you, don't say too much. But all I'm saying is, I'm in a new cycle. We're in a new cycle, baby. And if you feel this energy that I feel, if you know like I know, you would jump on the bandwagon now, because I promise you, I can't say too much. I'm not saying you gonna want to get your ass in the door now. Okay, get your ass in the door now, because now's a great time to get into the industry right before the summer comes up. Niggas is outside spending money. It's warm outside. It's time to be at the beach. It's time to show some skin, and you can turn any motherfucker into a sub. It don't got to be some guy on the internet that's on his knees. Oh, goddess, I worship you. You could turn a motherfucker that you walk past at your job into a sub. A motherfucker that you walk past at the grocery store into your sub. You just got to have the right mindset. Okay? Get your ass in the door. Get your ass in the door, and get your ass in the door today. I may swing around for another live stream if I'm feeling generous tonight. I was supposed to do it last night, but Spirit told me to rest and not do too much. Okay, so I'm not going to do too much. I'm living in ease. I understand. I'm living in ease, Spirit, actively. But I'm also doing what you told me to do by doing the reading. So yeah, period. And we are finished ahead of schedule, because I was actually thinking that I was going to continue streaming until 11 o'clock. But now it's like almost 10:30, and I'm 30 minutes ahead of schedule. I love that for me. We are being super productive today. I love this energy. Okay, I'm about to get on y'all nerves with YouTube content. I'm about to get on y'all nerves with TikTok content. We are almost 25,000 followers on TikTok, which is incredible. I've never had this many followers on one platform before. Usually I've had like 25,000. It's like spread across between like Instagram, Twitter, this, that. 25,000 people on one platform, bitch. Big shit popping, okay? Big shit happening. And I got like hella content going viral right now. So love you guys for that. Thank you guys for that. Thank you for shouting me out. Thank you for showing me love. Okay, thank you for pouring into me. I know that people always say that to me, like, oh, thank you so much for pouring into me. Like, no, you guys. Thank you guys for pouring into me. Thank you guys for showing up for me. Thank you guys for giving me the love, giving me that same energy right back. Okay, because that's the kind of stuff that keeps me going when I'm in those low moments too. That's the kind of stuff that fuels me to get up and do stuff and continue putting out all of this love and effort and work into the community. Okay, so thank you guys for tuning in. And I shall see you guys on the flippity flip. Let me check the comments one more time. Sorry. Yeah. Somebody said you're absolutely right. It's such an interesting thing because being a Black woman, I understood what you meant about race play, different but similar. Exactly. We doing race play right now. Everything that we do in our industry is race play as a Black woman, because you're never going to be able as a Black woman to separate your race from your creativity, from your work, from your identity. You're a Black Dom, right? Just right off the top. Like we say it all the time. I'm a Black dominatrix. You can't just say I'm a dominatrix. You got to say you're a Black dominatrix. You can't just say you're a content creator. You got to say you're a Black content creator. You can't just be the thing. Like, it's always going to be your race. It's always going to be this and that into it. And it's even with other races as well. Asian women go through this shit. You know what I'm saying? Indian women go through this shit. People are going to fetishize you specifically for your race. But knowing that and taking advantage of that, being able to use that in your favor, is how you take the fuck off. Because a lot of girls ain't willing to and take it that deep. Okay, a lot of girls look at me and they be like, "Oh, when you talk about race play, when you talk about Black New World Order, you know, you don't really carry it the same way I do." Yeah, because some girls talk about Black New World Order and they be like, "Ugh, my Black titties, my Black ass, my Black this." It owns you. And then when I talk about Black New World Order, I say that white people ain't shit, and that your white racist ass is sexualizing me and fetishizing me for my motherfucking race, because 9 times out of 10, you are a descendant of someone who tried to enslave my ass, and I'm going to hold you accountable to that motherfucker and make you feel like shit. That's my version of humiliation. Their version of humiliation is calling them, "You have a shrimp dick. Your dick is so tiny." His dick may be tiny. His dick may not be tiny. It's not my business to know that it's tiny. But what I do know is that that motherfucker is fetishizing me. What I do know is that he has wealth in his motherfucking pockets from white privilege, and that I'm not going to allow him to shortchange me or chump change me or give me less than what the fuck I deserve, because you have white privilege and you need to use it to benefit me, and not only me, my motherfucking community. So get your ass out there and vote. Get your ass out there and change your political affiliation from Republican to Democratic, and tell all your friends on Facebook that you did it. Go to Kamala Harris's political rallies. That's back when we was doing that. Go to Kamala Harris's political rallies and help electioneer for her and get people to vote for her and all those other things. I'm about that action. When it comes to me and Black New World Order, I'm about that action. And some girls just be taking it on the surface because they scared. They scared of what white people finna say. They scared of how the world is finna react, and how people that never actually gave a fuck about them, they're scared about how many people are gonna react to that. Me, I don't give a fuck. Because at the end of the day, they're going to always see me as a Black bitch, whether I'm passive or whether I'm the aggressor. I'm always going to be a Black bitch. So I might as well be the aggressor and the Black bitch. You get what I'm saying? So I love you guys. I love you guys. I love you guys. Mwah, 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 mwah. Have the most amazing, easy, prosperous day. And I shall see all of you guys on the inside of the AfroDomme Network. Mwah.